Stop and catch your breath, right?
Yeah. This is new up here. Somebody hung the old cover. Yeah. I saw that. Hey, get it there?
Took my coat off.
See with the they were trying to wedge in there, dislodge it a little bit. Problem exactly. Problem where they held that there and then they couldn't get it out. No, it's
Do all this rock work. Being back up. Wow. Come on inside. Careful on that.
Yeah, I'd be careful walking on that.
Yeah.
Let me get out of your way.
Come in here.
Fire burned the back wall out. The back wall was just like the front wall. Yeah, the fire burned it out.
Stove here, heater, and a cooking stove. And like a little bed here. That nice stove here.
Woo! 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 I don't know, but I back in the day, it would have been a nice place to live, I guess, but awful isolated.
Kind of talk about get away
But
from
I'm sure there was another pass road that went up over this one. Because they put the gas line all the way over, so
There had to be something there.
yeah.
So, just so you know, since you're tail gunner, there's a, you know the climb coming out of Flintstone Valley over here, right? Pretty steep climb. I'm gonna give it everything she's got, but I'm carrying 700 pounds, so he's pretty heavy. Just want to let you know, you may have to push.
Or I could always hook up a tow rope.
It might take, let's see, you got 850, I got 700, it might take 1550. And I got a winch on the front, so.
Yeah, I got one too.
So, yeah, just, if I get stuck, I don't think I will, but just in case, I want the tail gunner to know.
I mean, there's roads going clear up in there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, in fact, where we turned off
But
there, if you kept going.
You can't really see it. It's probably on the other side of this hill here. That's where the gas line goes over. That antelope down there didn't look like he was in a hurry to do anything. And it looked like about the same one I seen.
He was not the least bit concerned about us. He was just kind of giving us the one over. I've never had one stand there. Not that I've seen a lot.
I know.
Of them,
usually they'll stand for just a second and then boom.
And then gone.
I mean, they take off.
Yeah, that tells me either he ain't feeling well or he ain't well.
Yeah, he's probably getting old. I mean, he's.
That's true. He was kind of scruffy looking.
Yeah.
And you know how you get scruffy
Well,
looking.
they're losing their winter coat now. So.
Well, that's true. That's true. They're all tufty. So you grew up here, right?
No.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you grew
No.
up here. So you're transplant as well, huh? How long you been here?
My mom and dad moved up in '89, but I've been coming up here since '69. So
Oh, really?
yeah, we come up fishing, hunting.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. My in-laws, where you heard the story, my in-laws bought property in '72, and our company went back and forth. He was going to be a gentleman farmer.
At least he's still here. Yeah.
After he realized that really didn't pan out.
I mean, I know that a lot of the locals are pissed off because they can't even find this thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it is pretty well hidden. I mean,
it's out off the beaten path, I can tell you that, but
yeah. I mean, unless you know where it is, I mean, you wouldn't, going along that road, you wouldn't be able to really tell what this was.
you can't look up here and see it.
No, you can't.
Well, maybe with binoculars you could, but
You'd have to know what you're looking
yeah.
Down the back wall, then let the water flush through.
Well, that's just another rock on the side of the
for.
hill.
Mm-hmm.
Geology, like Neil and I were talking, if you design this and put it in Disneyland, you'll say, oh, those guys are crazy, something like that. There it is in nature. I mean,
But it is cool.
you look at all the rock formations of Rock Corral with all those vertical striations on it, very unique.
It is cool. I love the iron ore that's wrapped up in that that tertiary granite. That's very
I got a
cool.
little rust going on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's so cool. You imagine coming up on this thing and going, dang, I could make a house out of that.
Yeah. Well, the story is that it was an old bootlegger cabin, so
Well, there's
I could
really no
see it.
water, though.
well, now if you turn around and look, that looks like a water pipe coming out of the ground right over there.
I sat there to eat.
Oh, over there, yeah.
So I would imagine they did have water here at one time.
Yeah, maybe so.
Oh yeah, somebody did a lot of work. Right? That's why they have pack mules.
You certainly wouldn't be found by any revenuers up in here.
No,
Especially with the trees.
or the sheriff.
Or the sheriff. Well, hell, he'd probably be giving it to the sheriff. Use that rock.
A whole bunch of tin cans down here.
But what I'm wondering is where the outhouse is. Or was.
Big trouble is it's listed under Negro Mags, and you put the word Negro in and start searching Google immediately.
I don't know
What
if
you're
it's
doing using those
okay
terms.
now, but I know last time we
It's
were
hard.
finding it.
I've spent hours.
Yeah, you got it. Yep. Can't let them win.
Until the start of the year, it was Negro Mags on the map,
Thing
and
is
now it's
though,
NM
when
Wash.
the person walks out of the store, especially with
Yeah.
national.
Oh yeah, it was. Make it nice and warm.
But they send little kids in the car.
They cooked here.
Well, there's zombies.
Yep.
I doubt it, but
Kelly, are we going up there?
Okay, well, let's.
Are you going up
What
there?
we'll do is let's find a place out here we can get an interview with this in
up
the
that one,
background.
no.
What we're gonna do from here, we're gonna go back down the road, we're gonna go up that.
It's like it did,
yeah.
yeah.
Back down to where the road's been, then we'll go out, see that antenna way up top there? That's where we'll wind up.
Okay.
Yeah, can you see that?
So
antenna?
before we head out, we're gonna do an interview like maybe right out here on this point.
Yeah, talk to Bruce.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
got his-
where we had that little away.
Let's talk to Bruce, but we also need to get the stop. So we kind of just grabbed it, but we need to do the, hey, we're at our last stop of our tour here on the trail for today.
Good girl.
And we're here
Good
at
girl.
the chocolate chip cookie house. No, I'm just kidding.
Step over the edge of this, I wanna show you
Off the
something.
top, right.
See how far you can roll down the hill.
Oh, pretty far.
No, take the chip off and use the pointed end.
Okay, let's see.
I'm still doing a slide there.
Carol, when you go down the ridge, don't go back down the road. The ridge is much
Okay.
easier to walk down and
Okay.
there's grass in it.
Alrighty. I came up with Bruce.
Yeah. Where did you say the?
I'll let Bruce go down by
It's over
himself.
the hill, there's real grass.
I think I'll drive down.
You wonder if you look up, see the same kind of rock up there?
Yeah.
So it obviously fell off and it's rolled down from up there someplace.
Oh yeah, it's the same kind
Yeah.
of rock.
It's the same kind of formation.
With the chocolate chips up there. Yeah, that's a big chunk that just fell off.
Yeah. It must be a sedimentary type rock with the stuff like that through the years.
It's crazy how big it is.
Oh yeah.
It looks not
Oh,
real.
look at the size of these other rocks that have rolled down from up there.
So I think Neil, probably the best place for you to go back right here, because that this way we're gonna be shooting into the sun.
There's a pump handle, all right. That's the best you can do.
Where do we want to go?
All right, let us scope it out first. We don't have you find
Talk to
everything
Bruce.
out. Luckily, you don't have a great day. So I'm thinking like we have him on the uphill. This is looking pretty cool. Like if we had him out here. Yeah. Or we should even have him up there and he's mic'd up. We could have him right over here.
Just have Phil. He's got the mic already, and
Yeah.
he's the one that speaks the best.
Yeah.
From my Helen Wood Dixon.
Yeah.
I was better before I had these four front teeth put in. The wire my tongue catches on. I
Hey
don't
Phil,
think I
what
could
we'll have you do is, see right over here where it kind of curves?
Yeah,
We'll have you standing over there and we'll film from back here. Okay.
Back too far?
Come out in the sunlight for us. And if we can have you come out of frame for now, we'll get your interview next. But then we'll just have Phil in this shot.
I can just go sit in there and be out of the way.
Okay. Just for 1 minute while we do this interview here. Since we're so far away, we want to know who's talking. And we won't be able to see lips moving from this far.
Do I have to enunciate and make sure I get all my syllabus?
Take a step to your right there.
You know, you want to get your emphasis and wrong syllabus, right?
How's that looking? Okay. All right, everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and do this interview real quick. And
I
so
can make it real fast because I'm a fast talker. I can tell you this is all about the ranch and everything. We came here during the Second World War. No.
So what I'd like you to do is be like, okay, well we're here at our last stop for today's tour on the Beaver County Trail System. We're standing in here with what people call the Rock House, and
Rock Cabin.
go ahead and tell your story.
Yeah.
And all right, rolling.
Here we are. This is our last stop today on our tour. We just left Meg's Brothel. We've come out to the Rock Cabin. Rock Cabin is kind of unknown the history. We have some pictures. It was very nice until 2007. We had a fire. Fortunately, the water washes through, but there's 4 or 5 different stories about what went on here. One, that it was a rancher had a place here. One, there was a hermit that wanted to be here. One, that it was a gentleman from the Second World War that was shell-shocked, just wanted to get away from it. And then there's one story that was a moonshiner that made the hooch for back at Meg's Brothel. However it was, it's a very unique rock. If you look higher up on the mountain, you can see where the same kind of rocks roll down. It's hollow inside. At one time, it was like a luxury condominium. It had a heater, it had a stove, it had a cabinet, and I'm sure they had like an ice box, and it also had a bed in it. But through the years and after the fire, this was, you can see around, this was heavily forested at one time. It was kind of hidden up in here. Nobody knew much about it. One of the employees of Beaver County was up here doing some GPS, GIF stuff, and found it up here, and everybody says, we don't know what it is, but here it is. It's a great stop. Once you've been here and you mention to somebody, oh, I've been to the Rock Cabin, they go, yeah, we were there too. It's a great place. Don't have a lot of history, but it's a real neat place to visit when you're in Beaver and you come out on the trails out here.
And so maybe just talk a little bit about when you visit a place like this and you're on machines, how do you...
Okay, I know where you're going. The Rock Cabin is very unique. It's very fragile. The environment around here, there was just a main road came up here. Somebody has come up now and cut another road down and you can see it's taken all the vegetation off that. So if you come to Beaver, you come on our trails, take all your trash with you, stay on the trails. You'll find, and we saw coming out here, we have Carsonite signs that direct you what trail you're on. You can get a map in town. You can go online to Beaver County. They have all the trail system on there. So we have a system that's all laid out. If you come ride, stay on the roads. Be kind to our trail system out here. We don't need to lose any of these trails because people go off making their own trails, and then somebody complains. They go, well, if we shut that down, we don't have that problem. But as you've seen what we've ridden today, great trail system. Just respect it. Be kind to the earth.
Okay, and I'm just gonna get a safe closing in case we run out of time here down the road. So what I'd like you to do is be like, you know, I'd like to thank you for coming out on our on this ride with us. Now come out here and do it in person. You can come on down to Beaver County. The trail is great. Just kind of elaborate and do a close on that.
Okay. We've given you just a taste today of what the trail system is like in Beaver. We've shown you Mag's Brothel. We've shown you the Rock Cabin. If you want to come ride, get a hold of the Tourism Bureau. You can call me. All this stuff is online, but come ride Beaver. There's a lot more than what we saw today. This was just a little snippet of what we had, kind of whet your appetite to come and ride. You could consider coming any weekend. You could consider coming to our Jamboree, but there's a lot more trails than what we saw today.
And the last thing here is say, you know, happy 50th anniversary to the OHV program.
Yeah, this is part of the
with respect, ride to keep these trails for another 100 years, something like that.
This ride today was to kind of celebrate the 50th anniversary of the OHV program. It's hard to believe 50 years ago somebody started this, and what we have today, how it's grown. And if we take care of it, kind to our system, 100 years from now, our great-great-grandkids be coming out probably on electric snowmobiles or some kind of fancy thing, come up here and can still see all these sites. But we've got to take care of it. We've got to protect what we have.
Perfect.
Okay.
Very well said. Okay, you ready for your interview? If you can climb up on top and backflip off,
We'll get you in midair.
Just bury me when they get.
You want me to spot you on the landing?
Yeah.
all right. So let's find a good. We don't necessarily need the cabin in the background for this one, but we're good.
We're gonna make one. Yeah, we're gonna make one more stop, but there's a steep hill down to that. Can I get rid of the mic stuff because I'm hot with my jacket?
Yep, you're good to go. Just want to put that.
He probably wants to turn it off.
We might need it here.
Yeah, we can try it.
Yeah, I got no power steering.
I found the wire though.
It's all electric.
Huh? What you doing?
I said it's all electric.
Yeah.
I thought that was a water hose, but it's not.
No.
But there's water right down below, so.
Oh yeah, there's water here, and all these trees wouldn't have been here before if there wasn't water. Obviously. The fire just devastated it.
Quiet. All electric.
Do you have brakes?
Barely.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No power steering either
No,
unless
I
I turn
know.
the key on. Yeah, I do. I had to switch over to electric.
Is that electric?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I
You
didn't hear that
betcha.
at all.
No,
That's the
I
electric
coasted
same
down.
vehicle that Phil was talking about.
Yeah, piece of shit. He asked Neil if he had enough driving shots. He says, I got more than I've had on any of the other ride. He really liked that. We were going up the
Yeah.
road to get all that going. That worked out well.
He's really gonna like this section. Are you gonna go down to the four-way and go straight across? Or
I'm going to go down, up, over the hill, down, up, over the hill,
Okay.
down to the four-way, then up by the water tank, unless you
Okay.
think we should just cut it short and go right back down and over there and up and out of here with the time. I think we should do that.
I'm agreeing with you.
And-
There's that one off camber area that
Yeah.
I don't trust my machine on right now
Okay.
with 700 pounds.
With,
So if you just go back to the
What-
four-way and go straight through it.
yeah, when we get up top, there's that water tank, and then you go over that hill and there's a four-way stop. The four-way, I think if you turn left there, it'll go around and there's that hill that comes out on the other side, but I want to ride it first before we just take off.
Yeah, I was looking at, there is a trail, there is a trail up there
Yes.
that connects like that.
Yes,
so
it does, but I've never been on it until I do it once. I don't want to take a bunch of
I
help over
agreed.
there.
My,
Carol, does that mean we're not doing the Carol drop?
oh no, no. He's talking about
Oh.
there's a different spur. When you get up top, it's one of the things I say up top. You go up, there's an area there's kind of a road that comes across, and if you take a left there, he thinks it'll come back around and
Oh.
connect.
It looks like it on the
Yeah,
Google Earth.
yeah. So of course now when you get into the start getting in the rocks, you got to look on your right to look for the white piano.
I always, when I'm here, I show people that antenna up there.
Right.
I say, we're going to wind up there, and they go, no. Yes. Yeah, Larry came out and we did that with the, not the current dozer, but we had one we got from the Forest Service. It was a piece of junk, but that one sharp turn, it was very narrow. You couldn't have got anything bigger. Larry worked all that out.
Well, we had, because I did mags twice for the Jamboree, each time we had 75-inch machines, each time.
Wow.
And they made it through. In fact,
Yeah.
I asked him about it, especially that one turn close,
Yeah, the real, yeah.
that real sharp one
Yeah,
through the rocks.
We're talking the same turn.
Okay, yeah, and when we went through there, I'm going, God, I hope those guys can get through this, but no problem.
That'll give you the trail you want, Kevin.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you not done this section?
Yeah, she has.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just never remember.
Somehow you and I remember turns and they don't.
I had to do it 3 times before I could do it
Yeah,
without
I'm
my
the only
GPS.
Well, like I say, I used to fly cross country in gliders before they had GPS, so you had to learn how to read a map and remember points.
Well, that was us with
Yeah.
helicopters. Is
Yeah.
you had a map. In fact, my
IFR, I follow the railroads.
I follow roads. Yeah.
That's how you got to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Flying out of
That's true. I guess out of Phoenix, you would follow railroads. wouldn't you?
Flying out of Carlsbad, it had a low ceiling, so you'd call them, and they'd say, "Yeah, it's not too bad." So you'd fly about 5 miles out to sea, come down under, then come back into Palmyra.
Under the goo. Oh yeah.
Yeah, come back in.
I remember coming in out of the desert at night and dropping over Saddleback,
Yeah.
and it was like the Disney ride, the Peter Pan ride. You come over the mountains, and there's just a layer of
Seal lights.
Yeah, and what we'd be doing is looking for holes to punch down through so we could get down to Irvine.
That's like flying into Minden when you come back from up Yerington. You look for the sun would be on the 2 oxidation ponds for the sewage department. That was
Let's
right
see
off the end
who's
of the road.
next,
You aim for
Carol,
those.
isn't
They
it?
just made a slow right turn in for
She's the
final.
only one that hasn't been interviewed.
Not gonna be.
Huh? What do you mean,
They
no?
took a whole bunch of pictures of Tinker, and she was on camera.
Oh, cameraman.
Don't you even think so.
yeah,
I'm not a talker.
Get him right down here.
I'm not a talker. That's Kelly's.
Yeah, we'll just cut this short and get back. But our time isn't bad.
Considering
Well,
how
it's
late we
10
were
after
getting.
4.
Yeah, we'll be back an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's once we get on the main road, it's 21 miles.
Yeah.
Uh,
At 30 miles an hour, it's an hour, and we're about a half an hour from there.
now, when you guide, are you usually doing 30?
I don't go over 30.
Okay.
Our permits, Malik called not to go over 30, but with this group, we're hitting 40, 42. I need to get out here.
You're hitting 40, 42.
Huh?
You're hitting 40, 42.
Yeah, I saw Scott was
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gone
He does
before I
that
get a
going
chance
home
to
on along the pole line.
Oh,
I didn't go too fast on the pole line because I didn't know, but I had that one whoop-de-doo when you get beyond the first road. He loved it. We got air. So after that, I said, okay. You couldn't get air with that.
I'm not getting there at all.
No.
I'm bottoming out. I'm bottoming out in places I've never bottomed out.
Yeah, that's a little of a
350 or 4.
Oh, between the two, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you see my machine. Is my machine leaning this way? And I'm 230, so I was like, oh, no. But the Wolverine.
And I still have a complaint.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at your cargo pants and how big your pockets are. Look at the girls' cargo pants and how small their
That's
pockets are.
because it's more stylish to have the smaller pocket.
All you need is a mirror and a
put
piece
more
of
shit
lipstick
in
in
there.
there. What else do you need?
Well, these are big for girls' pants. Usually,
I know. Check this out. But these particular brand I really like.
they're riders.
Yeah.
Riders think they
Yeah. And I mean, I built a house in these. I
Yeah.
rode all of our rides in these, and I got the longer version, so they cover boots when I was sitting on my machine.
Yeah. So yeah.
And they
make
still
better side pockets.
and they snap
Yeah.
rather than button.
Yeah.
My old
Or
camis
Velcro.
they button, but you're a pain in the butt. I
Yeah.
like snaps.
So yeah, Carhartt used to make jeans for women.
Yeah.
Denim jeans, and they were really good, and they had a good sized pocket for your cell phone and everything. Then they quit making them out of that and made them out of some other kind of material that you had to suck your gut in order to zip them up. And
I have that problem.
3.5 miles in 3.5 miles into town and back, and you're walking along pulling them up because they stretched out. Whatever
That's why
the
you need to
material
wear
was.
suspenders. Suspenders are sexy. I don't know if you know that.
Or a belt helps.
Or a belt is Oh. My was an Army recon guy, and he was a draft dodger. They finally arrested him, put him in. They found out he could shoot, even though he tried to claim he was a conscientious objector. And he goes, "Oh, okay, here's a big red cross on your helmet." He's like, "Okay, never mind." So he ends up in the bush, right? So he's telling me all this stuff. He said, "We didn't wear clothes." He said, "We would wear maybe some ratted old underwear." He said, "But that was it." He goes, that's how primitive we became."
I had a career with the Koreans. It was so hot. They didn't have any shorts. So I finally got our colonel to agree that if I took the green underwear and had the flies sewn shut with the Vietnamese, we could wear them for shorts. But it was so.
The flies.
Yeah, I mean, well, his nickname was PC. He wanted polished boots in the compound.
Oh God.
I had a full handlebar red mustache, and he said, "You can't have a full mustache."
You mean people will be able to recognize you?
What can you do? Send me home?
That's right. No, I spent some time with the Rock Marines, not Vietnam vintage, but close. That was they were a different group.
We used to send a water truck down to the river. 2 nights in a row, they sniped at it, and Kim said, no. About 2 o'clock at night, 2 batteries of 105s, 2 batteries of 5.55, 2 rounds of each HE, 2 rounds of Willie Peter, 2 HE, no bill, no problem. That's the way they knew how to run the war. We didn't
Yeah.
we couldn't do that. But it was interesting because I had a platoon that was drafted half were, not half, a bunch of them were black out of New York and the other out of Chicago, Razanovich, and they would draw American B-racks, cook it Korean style. You'd come in, you'd have the mess tray with a big thing of white rice, a can of kimchi, and chopsticks. And I'm left-handed, and I use chopsticks left-handed. Many years later, I had properties, and they invite me for dinner, and I'm eating away, and their little daughters are laughing at me. And finally, I said, "Okay, what's so funny? Nobody's left-handed in China because you can't make their writing the way it's done." They said they've never seen anybody eat left-handed. They find it really funny. Yeah, it was. But it was, like I say, living with the Koreans was interesting. We had, once a month they'd play sports, and I was the umpire, so I had a flak jacket worn backwards as the umpire, and they played soccer. We tried to teach them football, but they would do sumo wrestling. They had make a ring and wrestle, but And if you fell asleep at night, the next day you were in full 782 gear in the hot sun, duck walking around, apologizing to everybody. They were mean people.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. If the North comes down, I feel sorry for the North. They're underfit. You know, same race of people. The North are 6 inches shorter, lack of nutrition. This year's really going to be tough. They're going to lose a lot of population.
Well, you know, when I was in Korea, I used to joke that I knew the map of North Korea better than the map of Northern California, and the ROK Marines and the other Korean units that I liaised with, if you will, I wasn't worried about the North coming south. I was worried that they were going to go north because they were tired of it and they were ready to kick some ass.
Seoul would take a real beating artillery-wise about the first 2 hours.
Oh yeah, yeah.
After that, with the counter battery we have, they just knock all that shit out. It would be gone.
Well, all the tunnels, that was the scary thing, is all the little tunnels that they could run trucks through. That was interesting. Yeah, I don't miss that.
I don't miss it, but it really opens your eyes to what's going on.
Oh, it does, to the rest of the
dicta,
world.
read the dicta like when we were going to invade Cuba. You know, they emptied all the hospitals on the East Coast, and Cuba would have been a tough place to take over, but they expect a lot of casualties. We didn't go in last week.
Well, did you ever read the account of the Russian sub-commander who actually got the order to launch and he didn't?
And there's also a lieutenant when the Russia went off and said there were like 20 missiles coming, and the guy had enough brains, he said they can't be doing that. He didn't push the button. But there's been several, and there's that sub-commander, I think this white one, followed behind a Russian sub for 41 days, and they never realized he was there.
One of the, it's not top secret anymore, but one of the secret briefs we got in Groton when I was up there for sub-training was periscope footage of the underside of Russian ships in Vladivostok. And it's like, okay, what? It's like,
You know, for years, with the listening device, we got all the Russian communications. And the way they found that, they were going along looking, and there was a sign that said, "Do not anchor cable crossing." So we have a sub that has rollers on it that would go up. Guys would go out, they would change that out once a year. And the only place you can see one is here in a Russian museum, and the lid's open. When they open the lid, it says "Made in America." It has an American flag. But that went on for years. The Russians had no idea we had all their codes going back and forth. But the things we've done with subs, like I have a friend I used to fly with. He worked for not Roar. I can't remember. No, it's just a little electronic. They made the cameras that went to the moon.
oh, okay.
And Bill ahead of me was, he had an Oriental gentleman come in and say, you know, I'd like some underwater cameras. Gave him the specs. Yeah, we can make those. The guy gave him reference. He had the bank account. There were 6 cameras on the large store.
You got one more member to interview.
Yeah, let the Russians know.
We're gonna do that over there.
No.
We have the whole
Right
You
there.
want to?
Carol said no.
You sure?
Remember the
I'm
governor
positive.
of Hawaii.
Well, if you change your mind, let me know.
You'll just have to
Yeah.
figure her pictures of Tinker would cover it.
I've covered my ass.
What about, real quick, would you, and you don't have to be on it, but would you introduce your dog? Riding dog?
The right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I woke you up, sweetheart.
So introduce her, Carol.
And so, like, I could have you get in right before we go, and then Neil can just kind of just do a quick recording of, like, because she's so cool.
You'll have to show how she's all harnessed in and
Yeah.
everything.
So, last thing is, this is the last interview, we're just going to show Tinkerbell here that she's the riding dog. So, if we just want to throw the mic on, just the boom mic. Okay, I was like, we're gonna
Yeah.
put the log on the dog.
We could.
I can act as a dog.
Hi, my name's Tinkerbell. I like to ride. We go rides all the time, don't we, Tink, huh? We go for rides.
Okay.
I got goodies.
Donnie's still playing.
I got goodies.
Ready to ride.
Licorice.
I got some good shots of the dog riding.
Good for you.
If I'm gonna be number 2 behind you, can you make a drop people?
Yeah, I'll let you do your thing then. So just talk to Neil and just explain like how like everybody wants to know.
A lot of questions.
Awesome dog out on the trail. He's got our goggles. He's harnessed in.
You and I know where we're going.
All right, everybody, we're gonna do this real quick and we'll get rolling. Yes. Tell me about riding with your dog.
So where are we going next, Bill?
As the driver. So, and then Bill made up the seat that is custom made, it matches my suicide bar. Got
Up the
a
canyon and we'll go for that
and a bar
steep
underneath.
downhill and crawl up out of here up to top, then we'll just take the Cunningham Road back to
We'll
town.
take a nap in it if we
We're gonna
stay
go
close
back down
enough.
to the four-way stop. We'll head south and we'll go up that draw
Okay.
where there's the CCC.
Well, I stopped at Big Rock and I thought you guys would be there, but you wasn't.
No, he wanted to keep going, so we just blasted him.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Danny, I thought you knew.
I've had
okay.
her for 7
I
years.
pulled in there. Nobody here.
3 or 4.
At least.
Getting some good photos? Taking some
No,
video?
I haven't even turned them on.
Oh.
Well, I turned that one on, but
Does you love these trails?
I'm probably still running.
Trails